December 16th, 2015 Newmarket Town Council meeting. We will begin, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will open the public forum at 7 o'clock. Capacity crowd. I will close the public forum at 7 o'clock. We have no public hearings, so I will accept a motion on the minutes of our December 2nd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I don't think I had anything.
They look good to me.
Nothing.
No way.
Way.
All right. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Council Burns.
Aye.
Council Pickering.
Aye.
Council Pike.
Aye.
Council Thompson.
Aye.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Council Levy.
Aye.
Council Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Report of the Town Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item on my report this evening, we've been interviewing firms for town engineering contract. We are currently reviewing the cost proposals and references, and we should have a proposal before the council at the next meeting. To go along with that, I also wanted to state that originally tonight they were supposed to have a meeting of the surplus land committee. However, end of last week, there was a issue that we may have had to have a special meeting of the organizational study committee, so I didn't schedule that. We were able to hammer that out. So we'll have the surplus land committee meeting prior to the January 6th meeting. And on that night, we should have a contract with a proposal for the organizational study for a first reading. So I just wanted to clarify. I knew there was some discussion at the last meeting.
When will that meeting be? Before?
Yeah,
this
6
meeting?
o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay.
Yeah. Just an update on the fiscal year 16 budget. With 42% of the year complete, we have currently running under budget with 39% expended. The main reasons for this is we've not done any road projects this year. As well, we did do the road projects, but it wasn't billed during that period, and we did not do the sidewalk improvement project this fall. Revenues continue to be healthy. One of the things that said in my report is that we collected 89% of the revenues for the year. But one of the things you need to remember is that that includes all the property taxes. I just got an update from the town clerk tax collector. As of yesterday, when taxes were due, we've actually collected 95% of all taxes, which is very good. Usually you're more in the 90% range. So doing quite well there. Motor vehicles continue to be higher than anticipated as well, building permit revenues in some planning board applications. There was questions at the last meeting about the drought level and conditions in town. We continue to be at a stage 3 drought emergency. I know it's kind of odd because it's not summertime, you don't think of that. However, we still haven't had a significant rainfall over the past months. Currently, the Sewell well should be at a level of 52 feet below what where the pump is. We're at 60, so we need to make up about 8 feet in that well. And Bennett should be at 27, and we're at 31.6 feet. The water and sewer superintendent also is doing other research into the wells to see if there's other things we can do to extend the usage. We haven't had a refurbishment of these wells in a number of years, and I can't remember which one of them hasn't been done since the 80s when it was brought online, and the second one was done in the late 90s. So we should look at doing some refurbishment. It's basically you go in, you plunge it out, you get some of the materials that build up over time out of the way and where the pumps would be, and basically clean everything out and get it flowing again. So they're looking at that as well. So unless we get some significant rainfall in the spring, we're going to be continuing at the stage 3 and maybe going to stage 4. We just haven't had any of those long couple weeks of rain. Traditionally, you get that in October. It didn't happen. I mean, it didn't happen in the summer at all. So that's why we're still at this level. If the McIntosh well comes on, hopefully early summer, it will alleviate and help us with that a great deal. Just wanted to also take this opportunity to introduce Wendy Chase. She's in the audience. She's the new executive assistant to the town administrator, so she'll be assisting you guys if you have any questions or need anything from my office. You'll be probably talking to Wendy. And she's been on board for about a week, and Kathy has been showing her the ropes. Today was Kathy's last day. She wanted to take this opportunity to thank everybody, not only on the council and the town employees, but also the town in general who stopped by over the last week with all the well wishes and gifts. And she's going to miss everybody. I wanted to make sure I said that. And she's not going far, and she'll still be around, but she's going to be enjoying her retirement now. So I just wanted to make sure I said that this evening. And I also just want to take this opportunity to wish the council and the public a very happy holidays and safe holidays season. And that's all I have time, Mr. Chair.
Questions or comments? Counselor Thompson.
I had one question, I mean, it's a clarification on page 50 of the packet, Steve, in the monthly department reports under planning board. There's a section on page 50, starts with the word variance on that page. Capital improvement program. Why is a booklet of CIP recommendations for the school being prepared for the town council? I got confused in there. Staff has presented a booklet of CIP recommendations for the town council and budget committee to use as part of the budget process.
Yeah, I think that's only the town portion. When you receive the CIP report.
The first sentence specifically referenced the school administration.
Right.
Counselor Weinstein knows something. You're on that committee.
Well, I mean, I would just say, I think that the CIP committee now looks at both, the school and the town. So when they report, and when they prepare their report, the school will be included. I mean, it just kind of makes sense.
Okay. I just thought there was no mention in here of that it would be for review by the school board, and so I couldn't quite make the jump. I'm assuming that booklet would be prepared for the school board's use in budgeting purposes as well.
It should be to the school board.
But it doesn't
It's not-
say that.
Right, it should be the school board, not to the council.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Any other questions or comments? Counselor Levy.
Got a couple. Let's see. Was there, on page 7, Steve, was there any update on rezoning recommendations? Has John Connery been contacted at all?
I believe he has. I don't have, the subcommittee for the planning board met, do you know? Today, okay.
Who's on the committee, Dale?
It was Roseanne Quox and Val
And
and
yourself.
myself.
And Diane, I'm guessing?
Diana, yes.
Okay.
So-
Is John, is
They will
John going to
come,
be,
yeah.
okay, I was just curious. I got a couple of quickies. Should I just go
Just
through them
go.
and then tell me when to stop?
Just go through.
They're all quick. On page 35, DPW, I was just wondering why diesel, it's just something you might want to look at. It's not a big deal, but diesel gas was, the use was significantly up, and I know they've done, less projects. So I was just wondering, the dollars are down because the price is, the price of diesel's down, but, and then overtime, I'm assuming on page 35 as well. Overtime in 16 is $3,000. Is that all based on the sidewalks? It
That
was
was,
12 grand last year at the same time and 3,100 this year.
Right, there weren't as many projects, the sidewalks and those kind of projects, so, yes.
Okay. Just a couple more. Let's see, they're all quick. On 44, under IT, is there any way we could just see last year's, maybe I missed it, but last year's budget in this? Is it there, or did I miss it? In other words, when it says they've expended, for example, it says it expended 34%. At the same time last year, it said it expended 48%. But it didn't really tell us what the budget was last year, so it's really hard to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
If
In
we,
that chart on the bottom, yeah.
Budget equals X.
yeah, exactly. If they could just put, I thought we had done that, but if they could just give us the budget
You're
from
talking
the.
about for all departments, right?
Yeah, I mean, this has just jumped out at me when I
Yeah,
saw
but they're all
48 to
that way.
34,
Yeah.
but it would be nice, and I thought we had changed that, but I don't think it would be bad to just see the budget for the previous year, because then those numbers would make a lot more sense.
Yep.
because I don't know what to make of, we've expended 48% to 34 without that. And let's see, just two more quickies, let's see. Let's see. I think I heard it today, but you can verify it. The development on Exeter Street, the one that with their Cheney doing the, the bottom business, and then, I thought I heard 11 apartments. Is that correct,
I think that's the
Dale?
correct number.
It is?
I think that's correct. Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds right.
Okay, thought I heard that.
Yeah, I know we're having a technical review committee meeting on Monday, so.
Yeah, they were talking about parking as being one of the concerns. I don't know if they ever got through all that.
We ruled on that last week.
Okay. And leaving, just one last one, the holiday pay was pulled, and the last one is recreation. Same question, expended and whatnot for the recreation, so that would just be helpful to me to understand what these mean. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We got 4 quick ones. One just came up based on what Councilor Levy said. The year-to-year differences, I get what he wants to see, like the raw dollar, but I'm more, like, my concern is when there's a percentage difference, why?
Yeah.
Like, even a one-sentence, like, narrative. I realize sometimes it's cooked into the overall, like, 3-4 pages each department has, but it'd be great just to see, like, a synopsis why there's a variation.
Yeah,
year-to-year.
usually if I see something out of the ordinary, I'll report it in that portion when I say at the beginning of my report that it's 42%, we're under.
Yeah, you bring it up but even like that one's like 10% difference IT right now, right? Or 11% difference?
Yeah.
So like, there's no real explanation as to why.
Yep.
Yeah, without having that previous
No,
year,
yeah.
there's no way to.
The CIP, I feel like, maybe this is more for when we do committee reports, the budget book, like, our budget book coming to us, it seems like late for that, doesn't it?
I think it already came to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got it.
So that's just
That's the
old-
school.
Oh, it's a school.
That's the
Yeah,
school.
we have a
School
memo.
hasn't.
Okay, all
We're at
right.
school tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Yeah.
why.
2 other things. One, you said we're at 89% revenue and I guess 95% tax collected.
Yeah.
I would love to know, maybe next meeting, like, if we're at 89% revenue collected now, where were we at this point last year? You know what I mean?
Yep, actually. It's in your report under you have a summary of revenue and
I didn't see it, but that's okay. We'll find
budget
it.
revenue.
And the other question is, I absolutely do not expect you to know the answer to this. If we're 8 foot low on one and 4 foot low on the other, like, how many inches of rain does it take? I'm sure it's got
Yeah.
landscapes involved, and I'm sure each one, it's different. Like, how much is it gonna take for us to get back up
Yep.
out of stage 3? Councilor Weinstein.
I just have something quick. I'm not sure what this would fall under, whether it would be police or fire, but my understanding is that there was another alleged fatal, wasn't alleged to be fatal, but a fatal overdose in town a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know how that gets reported to the public, like in different towns at different times, you see things in the paper sometimes you don't. But I think that it's something that we should know about, and I know that it's not toxicology, it's a long process for toxicology to come back, so it is an alleged overdose. But it was another fatality that's probably linked to heroin and fentanyl, so I just wanted to say that publicly so that people are aware.
Does the family have some control over that, too?
I don't
Right,
think
As
so.
far as details or something, or, I don't know.
The toxicology coming out? I don't know.
As far as what's published and where and when, because some things,
Right.
regardless of what it is, some things don't ever appear, and I understand that it can be sensitive to do that. Probably that would.
Absolutely.
Police legal, probably.
Yep.
And then we we provide the press with police reports. Whether or not they carry it, we can't force them to write the story, so, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a lot of, the press has become desensitized,
Mhm.
just like the public has in a lot of ways. But I think that, it's important that we recognize that it is an issue in Newmarket, and that people are trying to address it.
Thank you, Councilor Weinstein. Oh, Mr. Administrator.
You were asking about revenues.
Oh, yeah.
At last year, at this year to date, we had $20,259,413.98 at 89% collected. This year, we have $20,289,875.52 at 89%.
So we are
We're
on.
right on target.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, committee reports. Who's got a committee to report? Councilor Pike, then Councilor Thompson.
Planning committee did meet last week, planning board met last week, and, I mean, I think it's well reported in the report this week what developments are out there, what proposals are before the board. They were all either approved or a couple of them are in technical committee. The parking did come up, and they granted a variance. We granted a variance basically because, I think the formula, they had mitigating factors. For example, they have the business park right there. So if it was a concern of evening parking in a restaurant, just to use that as an example, there would be an easy place to go to unused parking from there. It's sort of a different situation than if it were close to the downtown. And the future land use subcommittee met today. So, the draft for that chapter will be coming out by the end of the year. So we'll be reviewing the draft at the planning board by next year, early next year.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilor Pike?
Just a quickie.
Councilor-
When are you meeting next on the rezoning for the elderly stuff?
Yeah, what's not clear to me, that was really greatly discussed in the future land use today, so I don't know, and we talked about the zoning changes at that time, and a lot of it's the same members, so.
Did they set up another meeting? Do you
We
know?
did not set up another meeting on that yet,
Okay.
but I would think, I don't know, I didn't ask that specific question, but.
Is that public, Steve? I'm assuming it's public. Could you let us know, just so, it'd be nice to sort of see what they're doing.
Yeah, I would add that a lot of the language that came from, the consultants was going to be of great use and really incorporated into that chapter language, so it really saved us a lot of work.
Okay, good. You mean Connery, I'm guessing?
Connery and
Quast?
Quast, both.
Good.
Any other committee reports?
Budget committee.
Councilor Thompson.
Met a week ago Monday to start the school budget review process, and then last Monday we met at 7 o'clock for the town public hearing on the town budget, and passed it as the council recommended it. Basically, that was what happened at the end of the day. Some interesting questions and debates. I hope that everybody's happy, and in the end, voted to approve it as forwarded by the council. So the next meeting for Budget Committee, I believe, is the 11th of January, where we'll do the school public hearing. But for the town side, we're all set.
Questions for Councilor Thompson? Councilor Pike.
What was the vote? Was it unanimous?
Unanimous. Yeah, we were missing two members. Craig Dion was out, and Mike Kennison was out, sorry, yeah. So,
It's good to know our hard work paid off.
it did a good job.
Other questions for Councilor Thompson? Any other committee reports?
I have one.
All right.
Conservation Commission met last Thursday, and they're looking at updating the Wigan Farm Tuttle Swamp Management Plan. So they're starting down that. They also talked about a couple of kiosks that have been damaged. Then they're trying to determine if they can fix them or, use any piece, salvage anything of it, or if they're going to have to get new ones. And I think that was in maybe one of the windstorms or something that we had, I don't know, something like that. But, and then they're also finishing compiling their year-end easement monitoring reports. And I think they only had one more to do at the last meeting. I think that might have been done over the weekend, so.
Excellent.
That's it.
Thank you. Questions for Counselor?
The land. Oh,
Stop spilling secrets up here, Steve. Any questions for Counselor Burns?
I want to know what they were just talking
I know, I do kind of do too.
No land you guys.
Yeah.
All right, seeing no questions, I'll accept a motion on Resolution 2015-16-26, changing the calculations for holiday pay.
Aren't we supposed to pull this?
We have to
You have to vote it down.
vote it down because they want to relanguage it entirely.
So I
You don't have to vote it down, we could pass it now and need to do it. But,
So do you want us to make a motion to?
Yeah.
To
you got a motion to pass it, and then we have to vote it down.
Then vote now.
Is the
Okay.
process.
Motion to pass Resolution 2015-16-26 to change the calculation for holiday pay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do you have anything you want to brief us on?
Yeah,
And the
after
general
we,
public?
after we submitted the resolution, it became clear there was some unintended consequences on some departments with regard to the holiday pay. And instead of trying to come in with a bunch of amendments, I want to sit down with a committee of a few department heads and rewrite it again to clarify it and then come forward to the council.
What's the issue, Steve? Can you give us the?
Yeah, the
whole-
issue is that you have different departments with different schedules. So some departments may have a holiday on a Friday where it's 4 hours, or one may have 10 hours, or one may have 8 hours. And on the flip side, you also have the situation with the town clerk, tax collector's office would have no hours because it's a regular day off. So we have some situations at this point in time in the year where you have some employees have used all their holiday hours, even though you're at the end of the year, but just because of the number of hours in a day for different departments. So we're trying to get it so that doesn't happen. A holiday should be a holiday, should be a holiday. And we're trying to fix that situation.
Yeah, discussion. I mean, we can have all the discussion we want. There's a motion on the table.
So let me understand this. Let's say, like I have people that have a day off on Thursday,
Mhm.
Thanksgiving. Are you saying that if someone, I'm just making this up, but if they were normally off on a Thursday, they'd have to be given those hours back? Is that part of what's inspiring this?
Correct. Part of it is if they had a Friday off, it doesn't say, it says in there you receive X number of hours for holiday time. So if you had a Friday off, usually you get the Thursday off. You get the day before, the policy says you get the day before. Well, a Thursday is different hours than a Friday would be for certain departments. And you run into a whole.
Right, so if you work normally an 8-hour day, you'd run through 96 hours
Exactly.
a lot faster than if you
Exactly.
worked a normal 10-hour day.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to fix, and that's why we do some of the scheduling as well, so we don't run into that, so.
So, I
Yeah,
was
one more.
just wondering this. So, from a legal standpoint, is it inappropriate if someone, Christmas generally falls on a different day each year?
Mhm.
I mean, it's the same 25th, I guess, but it could be a different day. Is there anything inappropriate about if someone happens to have a day off that day, they wouldn't have the 8 hours or whatever, their workday is added back in? In other words, just because, let's say my day off was Tuesday, or whatever, Friday, I don't care. And, or let's say someone didn't work on
Christmas.
it on a Christmas day.
For
right?
example, Christmas falls on a Friday. Friday, there is a department that closes on Friday.
So,
You're saying.
do you really have to address it? In other words, like in my particular case, if, my days off are Tuesday, Wednesday. If Christmas is on Tuesday, I don't get another day's pay because I was off Tuesday.
Yes, because our policy states that if the holiday falls on a day that's not scheduled, you receive
You
either
don't
the
lose
day
your
prior.
regular day off.
Or, the day prior or the day after. So say if it falls on a
Okay.
Saturday, perfect example, if you work 5 days and Christmas falls on a Saturday, you get Friday off. If it falls on a Sunday, you get Monday off.
Is that how most municipalities
All,
work?
yeah.
My concern is that I'm sorry.
No,
A lot
I'm
of private companies.
confused.
My concern is that if you've got a department that works 8-hour days and another department works 4 10-hour days, and you change it to by the day, you're giving 10 hours off to one worker,
That is
and 8
why.
hours off to another.
You're absolutely.
And you're gonna have
Yeah, and that's why we're
a
pulling
cultural.
it. And that's why we're pulling it.
All right.
So that's one of the reasons, so we are getting it,
Good.
yeah. It doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, it would just turn into,
Yep.
you'd have an issue on your hands.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why we're trying to solve something, yeah.
Any other comments?
Just one question.
Yeah.
What did you do before, out of curiosity?
Sometimes we waive it. So if somebody's like an hour over, we'll say, you know, don't worry about it, or we'll say work an extra hour somewhere, or, you know, if
Well,
not,
they'll
they,
take 2 hours of vacation.
they have to use vacation for holidays.
Is, it's just a dumb question, but
Yeah.
is it really a situation that you have to address?
It is.
Okay,
It's because, yeah.
okay.
Any other questions or comments? I feel we'll be talking about this in the near-term future.
Maybe not near term, but sometime in the future.
Sometime future. Mr. Minister of the vote?
And remember, we're asking you to vote no. Counselor Burns?
Nay.
Counselor Pickering?
Nay.
Counselor Pike?
Nay.
Counselor Thompson?
Nay.
Counselor Weinstein?
Nay.
Counselor Levy?
Nay.
Counselor Nazaro?
Nay.
Motion fails 7-0.
New business and correspondence. Council to consider nominations, appointments, and elections. I will accept a motion to nominate Julie Sinclair to the Conservation Commission.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, with the term to expire March 8, 2018. I should have said that. Discussion.
That's Julie.
Oh. Hey, Julie, you want to speak? You want to say something to us? You got to come to the mic, though, so people at home.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you all. So I've been living in Newmarket since 1998. My husband and I bought land and built a house on Dame Road in 2001. So we've been here quite a long time. We're the parents to 2 beautiful dogs. I love living in Newmarket, and for some reason it took me this long to like hike the Sweet Trail. And I was like, this is so beautiful. I can't believe this. And so along with really loving and appreciating the land here in Newmarket, but also all over New Hampshire, I'm also very much for wildlife, and I'm involved in an organization called Voices of Wildlife. And so I'm always doing things that are good for the animals as well. And so I figured I'd like to get involved in that on a local level. So that's why I'm here.
If you want to pick up some turkeys, I got a bunch of them.
Any other comments? Mr. Minister of the vote?
Did we get a motion in a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Counselor Burns?
Aye.
Counselor Pickering?
Aye.
Counselor Pike?
Aye.
Counselor Thompson?
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein?
Aye.
Counselor Levy?
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Julie, thank you so much for volunteering. Welcome to the crazy world of town government.
I motion it.
That's okay.
She should have the motion in a second. I will now accept a motion for Steve Minutelli to join the NCDC with a term that expires December 2018.
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Counselor Thompson?
Just hopefully a minor point. I did read the recommendation letter that came in recommending Steve, and my question is on terminology. The person writing on his behalf mentioned recommending him as the town council rep to the NCDC, and I'm baffled.
He used to be a member of the town council back in the day.
You're right. Town council does not have a seat on the NCDC. The town's ex officio member is the town administrator to the board of NCDC.
So that was just somebody
Yeah.
doing the right thing and wording it
Correct.
strangely. Okay.
Yeah, Lori Ann, write this better next time.
Does that make sense, actually?
He's not,
So he's sort of being, we're choosing him to represent the council, is that so?
No.
no. He is the ex
can't, he's
officio
not a
member.
So why is the council even mentioned?
Because you approved the nominations to the board.
He is mistakenly mentioned inside of the recommendation letter. It is not mentioned as town council inside the actual application.
Just wanted to make sure I knew what I was.
Oh, no.
Other questions? Good question. Seeing none, Mr. Administrator. the
Counselor
vote.
Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Thompson.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinances, resolutions in the first reading. I'm going to do the first reading, and then I'm going to ask for a motion to suspend the rules, and you're going to explain why we need to suspend the rules.
Yep.
Because you know I don't like it. Resolution 2015-16-28, approval of the fiscal year 2017 default budget. Whereas in accordance with the New Hampshire revised statutes annotated 40:39B, the town council must approve a default budget in case the budget proposed by the municipal budget committee fails a town meeting. And whereas the default budget is determined by taking the previous year's approved operating budget, increasing it by any contractual obligations, and reduced by any one-time expenditures. And whereas the town administrator and finance director determined this amount to be $9,895,953. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the default budget in the amount of $9,895,953 is proposed by the Town Council for fiscal year 2017. First reading December 16, 2015. Since you want a motion to suspend the rules, could you explain?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm requesting to suspend the rules this evening in order to meet the deadlines as required by the charter to have the budget, the default budget adopted. We're on a different timeline than the schools. We actually have to have things wrapped up before the first week in January. This will give us enough time to have everything wrapped up. That's why the Budget Committee's public hearing was this week, instead of in mid-January when the school is. They never changed they never changed the timeline of an old traditional town meeting for when it came to deadlines, when they amended it many years ago to go to SB2. If you count the dates that are matched up in the charter, it brings us to December.
The day's back.
Yeah. That's why the Budget Committee approves it now, the budget in December.
And we can't approve the default budget until the Budget Committee approves the budget?
No, it's two separate things, but it's still on the same timeline.
Well, I'll accept the motion to suspend the rules, then I have more questions, because I'm asking.
Well, if you're asking on the budget or you're asking on the process? Because if it's on the
I'm asking
process.
the process.
Then you should ask now.
But no one's had a motion.
Okay.
We're not in discussion yet. Does someone have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Now we're in discussion. If people have discussion, I jumped the gun there, I apologize.
So what's up?
Yeah, well, my point is, why couldn't we, because you know I don't like,
I understand.
why didn't we have this last meeting as a first reading?
Because we also need to know what the final numbers are for the Budget Committee. Because if there's certain things that aren't recommended, we need to include it in the formula when we're coming up with the operating budget.
So we needed their approved budget,
Correct.
and then, okay.
So I need,
For one-time expenditure.
Right.
And this-
Contractual obligations going
So if we
forward.
did not have, if they hadn't approved it, if they were
I
still
would have had
debating,
you to, I would ask you to keep it off as a first reading.
but then we'd be out of compliance with the charter.
Bingo.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion?
Just a quickie, what was like, without me going through all those pages, what was?
This is about, we're talking about
Process.
the process right now to suspend the rules. We'll get into discussion on the content next.
Oh, okay.
So this is a motion to suspend the rules. The vote, Mr. Administrator?
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Thompson.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Begrudging aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
I will now accept a motion on the actual resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Now discussion on the resolution.
Let me explain.
Councilor Levy.
Well, I was just gonna ask, what was last year's, how much did it?
I was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
The default budget would be $9,895,953. It's $989 less than the proposed operating budget, or $239,534 higher than the current fiscal year 16 budget. So it's $239,534
This year's
higher.
budget went up roughly $350.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Healthcare. Healthcare, we had a collective bargaining agreement for $23,000. We had the other insurance
It was healthcare and
liabilities.
insurance, it was all that stuff, yeah.
Were those guesstimates, Steve, at this point, or are those absolutely known?
No, guaranteed maximum rate increase, so it's 6%. It could go lower, but you have the guaranteed maximum rate increase is 6%.
So just to ask the question, if it goes lower, because we don't really know yet,
Mhm.
because we're covering ourselves for the maximum. So that money, what's the biggest delta it could be in dollars roughly? If it goes up 3% or 3.5%?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I guess my question is, does that money then just become fungible?
Yes.
So, is there any reason we can't know what the insurance and all those rates are before we guesstimate?
The board of directors do not set the rates until spring. That's why they give us a guaranteed maximum rate increase.
Because our budget's due before they come out with the rates.
Right. They come out with, yeah.
If we had a spring budget cycle, would we have been able, like, we switched it to this winter budget cycle.
Yes.
We used to have elections and everything in the spring.
Yep.
Would we have actually had real figures had we stuck there?
Yes.
Yep.
Won't that just get your goat?
Well, I mean, it works out it does work out, but
Well, it adds money
Yeah,
to the budget
fungible
potentially,
money.
though. I
If
mean-
you remember, though, when I got here, I had created a healthcare stabilization fund.
correct.
And what I do is if we have a significant difference, I take that figure and I put it in the healthcare stabilization fund. So if we have a 1-year significant increase or something that's like all of a sudden we hire a bunch of new people and it's all families versus single plans, I would ask the council to withdraw from there to offset those expenses if it's out of whack.
But we're still budgeting for the 6%.
We do set budget for
We
6%.
budget for the worst possible scenario.
Absolutely.
Did we do this last year, the same
Yep,
thing?
we've always done this.
So out of curiosity, do we know what last year's numbers were and we know what we budgeted?
It came in the rates came in at the rate, and we actually were over healthcare because of changes in personnel.
We were overexpended this year,
Right.
I do recall that.
So,
How could we be over if we did the maximum? Because there were more families moved in or?
bingo, yeah, somebody got married. and
Somebody
they-
had kids?
I don't know why I'm using bingo tonight, but. I don't know.
You're not really, I mean, if you were really gonna do maximum, you could,
6%
You could assume
times
everyone's
all
gonna get married,
family
and everyone's
plans.
gonna have a kid,
Yeah,
and everyone's
Right,
gonna.
really.
like-
We don't do, that's
Yeah.
rare.
You're just taking everybody in where they
Yeah.
are now when you're adding the maximum.
The guaranteed maximum, in all honesty, the guaranteed maximum rate is good compared to other years. I mean, I've seen it 12 to 15%, so this is pretty good.
Okay,
Other discussion?
just last question. Is there any way, I appreciate that it goes into a fund and whatnot, but is there any way, Steve, when you get those numbers, you could let the council know? You said it's in the spring pretty much.
I do let the council know.
So you can, it would be nice, because it just is too many numbers,
Yeah.
I just don't recall. Is it, when you get the final numbers, can we see what we budgeted versus what is in actuality? That way we can,
Yeah, I traditionally, in my report after the setting of the rates, I will state that, what the rates are and what the difference is. So I usually do report that in the spring.
so it's so it's healthcare,
Healthcare,
town
liability,
liability?
unemployment, workers' compensation.
It's a
So,
big number.
yeah,
Do you know what all those roughly add up to? Just ballpark?
over $1 million. That's the single.
10% of our budget.
Yeah, after police, that's the next largest.
Well, if you take out water and sewer, just
Yeah,
for.
well
Oh, no, yeah, I'm
talking
taking
20%.
water and sewer, yeah.
No, I'm saying if you
Yeah.
take.
20%.
It's
Yeah.
20, yeah, it's huge. It's a big
That,
number.
if you look at the operating budget, after police, human resources is the second largest because of benefits.
Other questions? Comments? Mr. Administrator, the vote?
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Thompson.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. I do need the council to sign the MSDT, which is the form the state requires.
Okay. Just want to pass that down.
Yeah.
Just because it's a short night, just a quick,
Yeah.
we're fine, but I just have, while we're doing this, we start at the end, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do we have any choice on, like, for example, with liability? Do we have any choice on how big the deductible would or wouldn't be, or is it all just,
It's $1,000 deductible flat.
okay?
Yeah.
So the only place is healthcare where there might be some flexibility with
Yeah.
deductibles.
And again, I know we've discussed this many times, the market for all those insurance products are shrinking.
It's only one
greatly.
company right now.
Well, yeah, PLT, the Property Liability Trust is actually winding down its business and is no longer writing new coverage and will be closing probably on July 1. So Primex will be the only carrier for property liability. Coincidentally, that was a discussion on a listserv group with town managers today. And as soon as they find out we have like a dam or a bridge, private companies don't want to insure us. Healthcare, there are two companies right now, there's School Care and Health Trust. However, if the Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield merger with Cigna goes through, the two companies that provide healthcare are Cigna and Blue Cross Blue Shield, so there'll be one there as well. Workers' comp and unemployment falls under property liability. That's wrapping down, so Primex will be the only carrier.
Let's schedule, like, I know that we've been talking about scheduling workshops instead of business meeting, we have incredibly light schedules. Maybe a workshop just where we go through like all the mechanics of what goes into the benefits in healthcare.
Sure.
All, like, just so that we have a better understanding. I mean, we talk about it a lot. It seems like more of a workshop topic.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions are valid. It's just,
I'd like to know whether there's some flexibility.
yeah. Councilor Thompson.
Steve, at some point, at least in the private sector, and it could have been years ago, partly the pools got started because there weren't other companies, and at least my recollection is in some of the construction industry or whatever, that companies got together, and in this case municipalities, to, in essence, self-insure, but make their own pool. Is that any kind of possibility with a pro on staff to advise us to the ins and outs?
That's what we are. When I say insurance, it's just easier to explain to people that it's insurance. It's not insurance, it's a risk pool. We are members of risk pools.
Right, but
Are you saying self-insure for the town?
yeah, like towns could be their own, I mean, I get that we're doing that through a company.
We do it
and
with
there's
a bunch
risk
of other
pool, and construction
municipalities.
is very much the same thing, but could you and the three towns around us make a own pool in it and really more self-insure? I don't know what out-of-the-box type of things might be available to a municipality.
It's looked at. We could do it, but you need to get, one of the issues right now, and it's being clarified, is a lot of those insurance companies have non-compete clauses. So if Health Trust offers Blue Cross Blue Shield, nobody else can offer Blue Cross Blue Shield to the municipalities. If, for a while, Primex had.
So the
Harvard
Newmarket
Pilgrim.
Insurance Company couldn't offer Blue Cross Blue
Blue
Shield.
Shield.
Okay.
And also, it's just the size. Processing claims and all that. You're right, you'd have to do a regional, the two municipalities that don't participate in Health Trust or sister school care, or there's another one that local government intertrust or something, are Manchester and Nashua. And that's just because of size, they can cover it. I mean, they're both about 100,000 people.
Right. So as far as the regionalization, using them as a model, is there something that the smaller towns could be in? This
I know it's been
ties
looked
into-
at, it's
okay.
been looked at, but the non-compete's the difference.
So again, I
Yeah.
really do think we should probably have a whole workshop on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Because it's not like, as a non-agenda item,
Yeah.
we're going to ask. I think we actually need a full brief on everything.
Yeah.
Because the questions are valid. A resolution, the first reading, Resolution 2015-16-29, authorize the town administrator to enter into a lease agreement with the Newmarket Community Church to house the Newmarket Town Clock. Whereas the town clock is housed by the Newmarket Community Church steeple, and whereas the Newmarket Community Church wishes to seek assistance in maintaining their steeple, and whereas the town administrator and town attorney have negotiated a 20-year lease agreement with the Newmarket Community Church, now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the town council authorize the town administrator to enter into a 20-year lease agreement with the Newmarket Community Church in the amount of $2,500 for FY16. This amount will increase by the Boston Consumer Price Index annually on July 1st, not to exceed 3% or be lower than 1%. This lease shall be executed if both parties agree to the terms. First reading December 16th, 2015. Correspondence and closing comments by town councilors. Do town councilors have correspondence or closing comments? Counselor Weinstein.
I attended the Budget Committee meeting on Monday, the public hearing, where there wasn't much of a public. There was one person in the audience. But there was a lot of discussion about what the town versus the schools, bonding and, projects that we might have, that the town might have versus what the school might have. And so it just started me thinking again that according to our charter, we are supposed to invite the school board to an annual meeting, and we haven't done that yet. So I wanted to bring that up.
The invite has gone out.
The invite has gone out.
Oh.
So
We-
don't, yeah.
and I thought we mentioned last meeting we're coordinating the
We
date
did.
in
Right.
January.
Mentioned something, but
Yeah. The
I
invite
hadn't
has
heard
gone
anything.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're just
Good.
waiting for dates.
Okay, great.
They're going to come back to us with these.
Exactly.
Okay.
Counselor Burns and then Counselor Pickering.
Counselor Weinstein covered one of my questions, the dates. But I just wanted to say thank you to Link Together and Ree for our snowmen. So thank you
good
for
point.
thinking of us. Appreciate that.
Anything else?
No,
Counselor
that's it.
Pickering.
I just would like to say, seeing I am a senior, I participated in a senior event last Saturday, sponsored by the Newmarket Firefighters Association. Actually, I was only celebrating my second year of being a senior, even though it was actually more than that. It was just a wonderful meal for seniors, turkey dinner with ham, and all the fixings. And they worked very hard to make this turn out so successful. Everyone there, not everyone, but a lot of people there, I heard them talking about, how thankful they were that this happens, and these people work so hard to make a special day for old people, or, well...
Seniors.
Seniors. I was just thinking of myself on that one. So anyways, that's that, and it was very appreciated.
Excellent. Thank you, Counselor Pickering. Any other comments? Seeing none, I think the council should also probably we definitely should extend our thanks to Kathy Castle for all the work she's done. She's been incredible, I think, for all of us to work with. I don't like to speak for other individuals, but as the council, I think that she's just always been great with the packets and supporting us anytime we needed support. So thank you to her. She will be missed. Told Wendy earlier today, she'll have big shoes to fill. So our next meeting is January 6th. Hope everyone has a happy holiday season, and I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Nobody wanted
It's
to.
the longest time it
Nobody
took
wanted
someone to adjourn. Is there a second?
I always do it, so I
Second.
forget.
Yeah, all right. We stand adjourned, 7:48. Thank you, councilors.